Picture this. You're locked away for a crime you didn't commit, facing decades behind bars with no hope of freedom. Most people would break. But what if I told you there's a story about someone who not only survived this nightmare, but transformed it into something beautiful? Today we're diving deep into Stephen King's masterpiece that proves the human spirit is absolutely unbreakable. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the books that change how we see the world. I'm your host, and today we're unpacking one of the most powerful stories ever written about hope, friendship and redemption. If you've only seen the movie, you're missing half the story. Stephen King's original novella contains layers of meaning that will completely shift your perspective on what it means to be truly free. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're about to embark on a journey through Shawshank State Penitentiary that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about justice, hope and the power of the human spirit. This isn't just a book summary, it's a roadmap for surviving life's darkest moments. Let's start with an introduction to this incredible work that has touched millions of lives worldwide. Stephen King published Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption in 1982 as part of his collection Different Seasons. This novella represents a dramatic departure from King's usual horror territory, showcasing his remarkable ability to craft deeply human stories that resonate across genres. The work demonstrates King's mastery of character development and his profound understanding of the human condition under extreme circumstances. The story emerged during a particularly productive period in King's career when he was exploring themes beyond supernatural horror. King drew inspiration from his own experiences and observations about institutional life, creating a narrative that feels authentically grounded despite its fictional setting. The novella's original title referenced Rita Hayworth, the Hollywood actress whose poster plays a symbolic role in the story, but the work has become universally known by its prison setting. What makes this particular King work extraordinary is its focus on quiet heroism rather than dramatic action. The narrative unfolds through the perspective of Ellis Boyd Redding, known as Red, an institutionalized prisoner who becomes our guide through the complex social ecosystem of Shawshank State Penitentiary. Through Red's eyes, we witness the arrival of Andy Dufresne, a banker convicted of murdering his wife and her lover. The book explores themes that transcend its prison setting: the nature of hope, the power of friendship, the corruption of institutional authority, and the possibility of redemption even in the darkest circumstances. King's prose is measured and contemplative, allowing readers to fully immerse themselves in the claustrophobic world of Shawshank while maintaining hope for something better. The story begins in 1947 when Andy Dufresne arrives at Shawshank State Penitentiary to serve 2 consecutive life sentences for murders he maintains he didn't commit. Unlike most new inmates who arrive broken or defiant, Andy carries himself with quiet dignity that immediately sets him apart. Red, our narrator, has been in prison for 20 years and serves as the prison's contraband supplier, able to acquire virtually anything for the right price. Andy's background as a banker quickly becomes valuable to the corrupt prison staff, particularly Captain Byron Hadley and Warden Samuel Norton. Initially, Andy helps guards with tax problems and financial planning, but his role expands as Norton realises Andy's potential for managing the prison's illegal money laundering operations. The warden forces Andy to create false identities and accounts to hide bribes and embezzlement funds. Throughout his imprisonment, Andy maintains his innocence while adapting to prison life in unexpected ways. He befriends Red and gradually earns respect from fellow inmates through small acts of kindness and his unwavering dignity. Andy establishes a prison library, tutors inmates for high school equivalency tests, and plays music over the prison's loudspeaker system, bringing moments of beauty to the harsh environment. The narrative spans nearly 3 decades, chronicling Andy's transformation from a man destroyed by false conviction to someone who finds purpose within prison walls. Red observes Andy's journey with growing admiration, noting how his friend never loses hope despite the system's attempts to break him. The story builds toward a revelation that recontextualizes everything we thought we knew about Andy's time at Shawshank, culminating in events that prove hope can triumph over even the most oppressive circumstances. The first major event occurs during Andy's early years when he begins helping prison guards with financial matters. This seemingly small development becomes crucial as it establishes Andy's value to the corrupt administration. Captain Hadley initially approaches Andy about inheritance taxes, but this interaction opens doors that transform Andy's entire prison experience. His financial expertise becomes both a blessing and a curse, providing protection while making him indispensable to Norton's criminal enterprise. Andy's establishment of the prison library represents another pivotal moment that reveals his character's depth. Starting with almost nothing, Andy persistently writes letters to the state government requesting books and funding. His determination pays off when he receives a substantial donation, allowing him to create a proper library space. This project demonstrates Andy's ability to create positive change within an oppressive system while providing inmates with opportunities for education and self-improvement. The third significant event involves Andy's relationship with Tommy Williams, a young inmate who arrives at Shawshank in the late 1960s. Tommy's testimony about meeting Andy's wife's real killer in another prison offers Andy hope for legal vindication. However, Warden Norton realises that Andy's freedom would expose the money laundering operation, leading to Tommy's suspicious death during an attempted escape. This betrayal represents Andy's darkest moment, as he realises the system will never allow him justice. Norton's expansion of the money laundering scheme marks another crucial development. Andy becomes the architect of an elaborate financial network that funnels bribes and illegal profits through false identities and accounts. The operation grows increasingly sophisticated, with Andy managing millions of dollars while maintaining perfect records. This work provides Andy with detailed knowledge of Norton's criminal activities while positioning him as the only person capable of maintaining the system. The fifth major event centres on Andy's reaction to Tommy's murder and Norton's betrayal. After years of compliance, Andy threatens to expose the warden's crimes unless he receives a fair hearing about his innocence. Norton responds by placing Andy in solitary confinement for 2 months, attempting to break his spirit. This confrontation represents the story's climax, as Andy faces his greatest test of endurance and determination. Andy's friendship with Red deepens throughout these events, creating the story's emotional core. Red initially views Andy as naive and overly hopeful, but gradually recognises his friend's extraordinary resilience and wisdom. Their relationship evolves from casual acquaintance to deep brotherhood, with Red becoming Andy's confidant and closest ally. This friendship sustains both men through their darkest moments while providing hope for eventual redemption. The revelation of Andy's true plans represents the story's most shocking development. For 19 years, Andy has been slowly tunnelling through his cell wall, hiding his work behind the famous poster. His escape exposes Norton's crimes to authorities, while Andy disappears with a significant portion of the laundered money. This masterful deception recontextualizes Andy's entire imprisonment, revealing a man who never stopped fighting for freedom. The final major event occurs when Red receives parole after serving 40 years. Following clues left by Andy, Red discovers his friend has established a new life in Mexico. Their reunion on a Pacific beach represents the story's ultimate triumph, as two men who found redemption in the darkest circumstances finally achieve true freedom together. The first crucial lesson from Shawshank concerns the nature of hope itself. Andy demonstrates that hope isn't passive optimism, but active resistance against despair. Even in the most hopeless circumstances, he continues planning, learning, and growing. His famous declaration that hope is good may be the best of things, and no good thing ever dies becomes the story's central message. Hope requires daily choice and conscious cultivation, especially when external circumstances seem insurmountable. Personal integrity emerges as another fundamental theme. Andy maintains his moral compass despite constant pressure to compromise his values. He helps fellow inmates, treats everyone with dignity, and refuses to become bitter despite his unjust imprisonment. His integrity isn't weakness, but strength, enabling him to survive without losing his humanity. This demonstrates that external circumstances cannot destroy internal character unless we allow them to. The power of incremental progress forms another key insight. Andy's tunnel takes 19 years to complete, representing the cumulative effect of small, consistent actions. Each night's work seems insignificant, but collectively they achieve the impossible. This principle applies beyond prison walls to any long-term goal or difficult situation. Transformation happens gradually through persistent effort rather than dramatic gestures. Friendship's redemptive power provides another essential lesson. Andy and Red's relationship demonstrates how genuine human connection can survive even the most dehumanizing conditions. Their friendship isn't based on convenience or mutual benefit, but on deep understanding and shared values. Red's transformation from cynical institutionalized prisoner to hopeful free man occurs largely through Andy's influence and example. The story reveals how institutional systems can corrupt both oppressors and victims. Norton and his staff become increasingly criminal while convincing themselves they're maintaining order. Meanwhile, long-term prisoners like Red become so dependent on institutional structure that freedom terrifies them. This dynamic exists in many contexts where people surrender autonomy for security, whether in prisons, corporations, or other hierarchical systems. Andy's approach to survival teaches us about adapting without surrendering. He learns prison customs and builds necessary relationships while never accepting his situation as permanent. This balance between acceptance and resistance allows him to survive immediate challenges while maintaining long-term hope. The lesson applies to anyone facing difficult circumstances beyond their immediate control. The importance of purpose and meaning emerges throughout Andy's imprisonment. His work with the library, education programs, and music broadcasts provides meaning beyond mere survival. These activities benefit others while maintaining Andy's sense of identity and value. Finding purpose in serving others can sustain us through our darkest periods while creating positive change. The story demonstrates how patience and strategic thinking can overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. Andy's escape plan requires decades of preparation, careful timing, and meticulous attention to detail. He understands that hasty action would fail, while patient preparation eventually succeeds. This teaches us that some problems cannot be solved quickly, but require sustained effort and strategic planning. Financial knowledge and personal responsibility emerge as practical themes. Andy's banking skills provide protection and opportunity, while his careful planning enables his eventual freedom. The story suggests that understanding money management and taking responsibility for our financial future can provide security and options in difficult circumstances. Finally, the book teaches us about the possibility of redemption regardless of past circumstances. Both Andy and Red find new lives despite their criminal convictions and lost years. Their story suggests that it's never too late to change, grow, or start over. Redemption requires taking responsibility for our choices while maintaining hope for a better future. The Shawshank Redemption stands as Stephen King's most hopeful and humanistic work, proving that even in life's darkest moments, the human spirit can triumph. Through Andy Dufresne's journey from wrongfully convicted prisoner to free man, King explores themes that resonate far beyond prison walls. The story reminds us that hope isn't naive optimism, but conscious choice, that friendship can survive any hardship, and that patient persistence can overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. What makes this story particularly powerful is its realistic portrayal of institutional corruption and human resilience. King doesn't minimize the genuine horrors of prison life or suggest that positive thinking alone can solve serious problems. Instead, he shows how individuals can maintain their humanity and work toward freedom even within oppressive systems. Andy's victory isn't magical or unrealistic, but earned through decades of careful planning, strategic thinking, and unwavering determination. The book's enduring popularity stems from its universal themes and deeply human characters. Whether facing personal struggles, professional challenges, or societal injustices, readers find inspiration in Andy's example and wisdom in Red's narration. The story suggests that redemption is possible for anyone willing to take responsibility for their choices while maintaining hope for a better future. King's masterpiece ultimately teaches us that true freedom comes from within, that genuine friendship transcends circumstances, and that patient hope can overcome even the most desperate situations. In a world often filled with cynicism and despair, The Shawshank Redemption offers a powerful reminder that good things can emerge from the darkest circumstances when we refuse to surrender our humanity.